Hello, YouTube. Everyone, welcome to the Horsemen Hangout. It's been 2 weeks, but today is February the 26th, 2015. We have a lot to talk about on the show. It's been a long 2 weeks, a long, cold, snowy 2 weeks for all of us. I, as you know, am our host, Mr. Justin. Joining us, we have some very special guests, some horsemen, some fifth seats of the Horsemen Hangout. As you can see below, Mr. Lane Sir joins us from Williamstown. How you doing, Mr. Lane?
I'm all right, guys. I'm good.
With his boogie board. Do you have the boogie board tonight?
Absolutely. I have it as a blank right now, so I'm ready.
It is a trademark, and we look forward to it. Mr. Rue TV, you have a mason jar. You have a mason jar.
Good
What's
mason
in that
jar. We got some cranberry grape juice. Mr. Lane, have you ever drank cranberry grape juice?
I don't think so, no.
It's refreshing, man. It's refreshing. Hi, by the way.
That would give me heartburn. That would give me heartburn, Rue TV. Anyway, and our lastly but not least, our fifth seat of the Horseman Hangout, Mr. Stephen Page. How's it going, Mr. Page?
How's it going, guys?
I'm good, man. Doing good.
Glad to see you're not buried in any of that snow up there.
Actually, we haven't gotten snow recently. At least where I am, we haven't gotten snow in about a week, which is good.
Yeah, a week's a long time for you guys, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let's get right down to business. A lot of wrestling-related news breaking here in the.
A lot of news. Big news week. Big week.
I know. I wrote down some stuff, and to be honest, I really haven't been up on. Like, I didn't watch all of Fastlane. I didn't watch all of Raw, so I'm just going off of the websites I check and my apps and stuff. But first things first, breaking news here on this Thursday night. The longtime superstar from WCW and WWE, Rey Mysterio Jr., getting his official release from WWE today. I guess a lot of people probably saw this coming. Past couple of years he's been hurt and really hasn't participated as much. He had some high spots in WWE, won the belt. I think it was the did he win the SmackDown belt, the World Heavyweight? I think. I don't think he won the WWE. Yeah, World Heavyweight. Yeah. And he won the Royal Rumble. So he's done a lot of great things in WWE, but he's leaving. I'm gonna throw it to Mr. Rue TV here and see his thoughts about what the potential future is for Rey, if there is any for him right now.
Well, first thing I keep in mind, Rey is not a young kid anymore. He came into WWE in 2002. I believe it was summer 2002, and at that time he was still young, but considered a veteran because at that time he had been with ECW, WCW for a number of years. So Rey, I would guess, is probably 38, maybe, something like that, 37. I could be wrong.
I think he's older than that, isn't he?
Is he about 40? I think he might be under 40. Somebody Google that and check on his age. I think he's under 40. But in terms of his future, I mean, all signs are pointing to Lucha Underground. I know his best friend is Conan. There's a lot of Alberto Del Rio's there now. There's a lot of signs that are pointing to coming in.
All right. Listen, I know you'd say that, and that's why I wanted to start off the show, because I wanted to get a little fire, a little fuel. We're going to have a point-counterpoint here, okay? It's a new segment. And I know, Mr. Rue TV, you've really tried to sell me on Lucha Underground, and to be honest, I'm not so sure that I'm sold. And before this show started, Stephen Page made a remark, and I think he may not be on the same Lucha Underground boat. So is that true, Steve?
It's not that I am not on it. It's not that I don't enjoy it. I just don't get into English commentary. So it's hard for me to follow along with the storylines if I cannot understand what the hell the announcers are saying. I'm sorry, okay. I don't know Spanish at all. It's hard to...
Rue TV, please pitch, if you will, Lucha Underground to me, to Mr. Lane. Mr. Lane, do you watch Lucha Underground?
I have not, but I just did some research on Rey Mysterio's age. He's 40. Rey.
40 on the
40.
dot?
Yep. I just Googled it, guys. So there you go.
I knew he
still
was
got some years. If he's Jamie Moyer, we're talking. He's got some years left in him. But Rue, I want you to pitch this Lucha Underground to me, to Mr. Page, and to Mr. Lane. Tell us why we should watch.
Well, for one thing, the action is much better than what you see on WWE TV. It's much more innovative and real Smash Mouth style, even though it does incorporate lucha. But the number one thing that stands out to me is the storylines. They're so well produced. The backstage packages are so well done. They're shot cinematically, which basically means instead of the corny, cheesy, fake lines you see in WWE pre-tapes where one guy's standing there and Stephanie are in a fake office, it's actually in a real setting. Dario Cueto, who is basically the GM, is a real actor that they hired to play their GM or their president, whatever you call it. And there's background music. It feels like you're watching a scene from Breaking Bad when they cut to the back. That's why it's kind of innovative. Also, the women are hot, and the show is an hour. It's action-packed, boom, 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 fast-paced action. It doesn't drag. You don't go to sleep. That's
everyone is masked in the show?
What's that?
Is everyone masked?
No. It's actually shot in a TV studio in L.A., and it's not a Mexican. I mean, they have Spanish versions of the show, but it's totally American, English spoken. The commentators are Vampiro and Matt Stryker. And Alberto Del Rio is not masked, and they have John Morrison, who is Johnny Mundo. One of their main guys is not masked, so no, they don't have just luchas. There's American wrestlers too.
Now, what network is this on, or is this on the internet?
It's on the El Rey network, which Comcast in Philly does not get, but it actually is on a Spanish station that we have. I would suggest watching online though. YouTube it until Comcast carries the El Rey network, which as of right now they don't. So unfortunately. But Wednesday nights, I believe. I watched some clips here and there online. From what I saw, it's a fun show. So anything that's different, I'm all for. So the booker of Lucha Underground is Chris DeJoseph. You might know him as a former WWE writer or dancer as Big Dick Johnson. He is the booker, so to speak. His name Chris DeJoseph. They call him DJ. Mr. Lane. They call him DJ, but his name in WWE was Big Dick Johnson.
I remember that. I was just looking at Steven's face there.
That guy dancing, I'd look at myself in the mirror. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think it's worth giving a shot. I'm going to check out some. I've seen some YouTube clips, and it's good action. But I think I need to take in an entire show. Do they only do the 1 hour show? Do they do any pay-per-views or anything?
Just the 1 hour show. It's actually shot like a television show, so they'll have a season after season. It's a different format. It's not the dated WWE format. It's like a television show.
But no pay-per-views?
Not to my knowledge, not yet. They just work like a TV show.
All right, and then can you give us an update on this LA Fights deal here?
I didn't hear any updates. If you don't know what he's talking about, Nigel McGuinness has been trying to do a Kickstarter, get his own company backed, LA Fights, but I didn't hear anything about that for a while, so I don't know if he's close to his goal yet. But Nigel wants to throw his hat in the promoting ring, so.
All right, well there you go. That should be pretty cool. I was reading up on that, and Rue was sending me a couple links about that. But yeah, we got to move on. We got to move on here, and I want to get Mr. Lane's input on this. Something that happened, I guess after a Raw. I think it was Tuesday. I didn't see it, but apparently on Monday there was a tag team Divas match between the Bellas and I don't even know who it was against, but it was apparently a 30-second match, and sparked some outrage on Twitter. And people, AJ Lee basically spoke out and started the hashtag Give Divas a Chance. I told Steven about this. I was listening to a pro wrestling podcast, Sam Roberts' podcast today. And it's a good podcast. He did interviews with Shawn Michaels, and Mark Henry was the one from this week's. But he also does a little commentary on divas, or on wrestling in general. And he spoke out about this. He believes that, and you guys can say what you want about this, he thinks that hashtag was a work from WWE. They planned the 30-second match. They planned the hashtag because they're very, very good and inventive at promoting through social media, and they think that was a way to grow and create a storyline for the Divas going forward. This is going to create some kind of upswing with the Divas. I mean, Mr. Lane, I'll throw it over to you. What were your thoughts on the 30-second Divas match and where it stands in the company now? Are they really respected as much as they should be?
Well, I just think the women's wrestling could go either way in WWE. It could be very, very good, or it could be very, very bad. The NXT Divas right now, I think, are better. I've seen better matches within NXT. The main roster for the Divas right now, it's just not. I think it could be better. I could honestly say it could be better. But when we all saw the Attitude Era, it was excellent quality wrestling, I thought. Forget about the bra and panty matches for a minute here, but the quality of wrestling was very, very good back then. We're talking about like 15 years ago here. We had some quality talent. Of course, you had Lita, Trish, you had Jazz, you had Molly Holly. Those women knew how to wrestle. China as well. Those women knew how to wrestle. Today's women, today's women wrestlers, like I said, it could go either way. It could be very good or it could be very bad.
I specifically remember, not to cut you off, but Lita, great bump taker, but most specifically those Henya Karatas.
Yeah, well, she was one of a kind in her own right. I mean, she was one of the best women wrestlers, past, present, or future. Let's face it. She was excellent. Excellent. She brought a lot of original material to the table. That's what she did. Now, as far as, yes?
Let me ask, getting back to the hashtag things, that's the topic I wanted to go on.
Right.
Steve, do you think, you see the Twitter thing, the whole Twitter thing? Give Divas a chance.
Did I see it? I did see the hashtag. I don't know too much about it. I don't know if it was a work or if it was a real thing that people got started. But my belief is to tend to believe that WWE started it, because it's hard to get unless you have a bunch of followers or a celebrity follower on Twitter. It's hard to get a hashtag going. I've tried it myself.
Yeah.
It doesn't work too well. Unless you got some kind of corporate backing it, it doesn't go floating off into Twitter you know what I'm saying? It doesn't go
right.
Up, it doesn't get the retweets and the.
Well, let me ask you, do you think that Divas matches will ever be more than a pee break for the WWE fans? Because,
Actually, let me tell you something. I will say the match at Fastlane, I believe I tweeted this out, that I was glad I actually took my pee break before the Divas match and not during the Divas match. Because I actually enjoyed the Divas match at Fastlane.
Yeah, I mean, especially the women on NXT really sometimes they steal the show, and they put on the nights a lot of times. But
Absolutely. Definitely the women's roster on NXT is better by part.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh. We have a run-in.
What is this? Look.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, boys. Remember me?
What are you doing here?
Well, I thought it was time to come back to the Hangout. There doesn't seem to be, seems to be a little bit of anger there from one of the Horsemen.
Mr. Lane, just describe your emotions seeing Mr. Z back in the Hangout tonight.
I'm so glad to see Mr. Z's back in the Hangout. I really am. I'm glad to see a man with excellent knowledge of our Horseman group back in the fold again.
I said I'd be back. Now, there's one person that might not be too happy with that, but you know what? The show must go on.
All right.
I'll just comment that we worked through our contract dispute here the past couple weeks, and Mr. Z is back on as the fourth seat in the Horseman Hangout. Rue, see you're pretty emotional over there. You want to welcome Mr. Z back?
It's been a long ride without him. Hopefully he can add to the show this time.
Missed you too, Ru. Missed you too.
Yep. Whatever, dude.
Oh man.
Different emotions here on the Hangout as Mr. Z returns, makes his triumphant return. We were just in the middle of talking about the Divas, and I wanted to throw it over to Mr. Ru. In particular, AJ Lee was the one who tweeted at Stephanie McMahon, spoke about their disrespect for the Divas. Do you think that was, like I said again, WWE manufactured, or do you think it was AJ Lee who is married to CM Punk, and that was just her? Was that just her, or was that?
That was her. That was just her. Whether they're manufacturing like an angle prior to, because the whole Divas, I don't follow it as closely as most do, but I think they were starting to do this kind of movement for the Divas, give Divas whatever it is, before AJ made the comments. So if it's a work, a corporate company like that doesn't even mess around with the fact that your female employees could possibly be getting lower wages. There's no way, because the reality is they probably do make lower than the men, and they really don't get that much TV time. So no, that was real, definitely. From what I've heard, just naturally as any boss would be, Stephanie was pissed off. I just think it's cool that AJ is in a position, because she's married to CM Punk, and he to say these things. I mean, you wouldn't see a Paige go out and say something like this, because she doesn't have a platform, or she doesn't have she needs the spot. Whereas if they fired AJ, I think AJ would probably just go home, get pregnant, and be a loving wife and mother and be rich, because CM Punk's got a huge ass UFC contract, so he doesn't need Vince. That's my.
By the way, I saw a picture of him. He was on Marin, the IFC show. He looks great. He looks like he's really working out, and he looks like he's getting in shape for UFC. So.
Agreed. Yes.
The best. Now that Mr. Z's back, I just wanted to get his take. I hear that you will be going on vacation pretty soon. Where are you headed?
That's right. 1 week from tomorrow, I will be going to sunny Clearwater, Florida, to attend Phillies spring training. I will be seeing 2 games down there, one on Friday and one on Saturday. I believe they're against the Toronto Blue Jays and New York Yankees, respectively. And I'm really looking forward to it, quite frankly.
Well, I will also add that I am attending with Mr. Z, and I just wanted to say, if you haven't been to spring training, you got to go. It's great, especially for us living in the Northeast.
Wait a minute. We've got myself, Stephen Page, and Mr. Lane sitting here. There was not one invite given to us 3.
All right, well, let's break it down.
Hold on a second. I think I'll field this question.
Okay.
This little getaway, we'll call it, was part of my negotiations. I wouldn't have come back on the show if Mr. Justin didn't agree to accompany me to spring training. So to leave you guys out, I do apologize to Mr. Lane and Steve. I would like to go to spring training with you guys. I believe the Red Sox are in Fort Myers, which is a decent drive from Clearwater, and we all know the Braves are in Orlando at the Wide World of Sports complex. But it's part of my new contract is the spring training trip. So I don't really care for your opinion, Mr. Ryan. You can think whatever you want, but you just got to deal with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'll add that I did go see a Braves game. Ant, were you with me that year?
Yes. Braves and the Tigers.
Yeah, that's right. The Phillies weren't even playing. We saw a Braves-Tigers game down at the Wide World of Sports. Nice complex, but it is Disney, so it's different than like Clearwater. But I haven't been to Fort Myers yet, but they just built a new spring training complex that
Blue Stadium, I believe it's called.
Yeah, that like mirrors Fenway. They have like a green monster out there, I think, and everything. It's weird because like Yankee Stadium did the same thing. They built this stadium in Tampa that is the exact dimensions, and it looks like.
Yep, it's I think it's George Steinbrenner Field. It's like it was originally known as Legends Stadium, and it was George Steinbrenner Field. I think that's what they call it now. So that's the home of the spring training Yankees, basically. So there you go.
I think it's time before we forget to talk about Cena Rusev from Fastlane. That's my opinion.
Listen. We got a lot to talk about with with that stuff. But all right, let's talk about Cena Rusev.
We might as well get that out of the way because
Let's get that out of the way because I want to talk about Mania, but we'll hold that off till later. Oh, you know what else I'd like to add is I was just going through YouTube the other day, and Mr. Page, I saw your post for your reaction to the Cena Rusev finish. You seemed to be very emotional. Some expletives, some curses, some.
Can we play that? Can we play it? Do we have that clip?
We do have the clip. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
And I want you to take us back what was going through your mind.
I almost forgot who I was rooting for at the first part of this video.
I have a question. Does Stephen Page scream that loud when Torino GT is home? Because I know he's not home.
Hold on.
We've tended to scream that loud, yes.
All right. I was entertained by it.
I have the exclusive clip here, and I'm going to play. I have the audio clip here. And that's it. So that was as John Cena passed out. What were your emotions at the finish there that match?
Well, obviously I wanted John Cena to tap. Obviously he didn't. He passed out. But of course John Cena's not going to tap because of course we know John Cena never gives up.
Yeah, I mean they're really building Rusev into being. I mean he's been a monster, but as Rusev Lane can say, you know he's got a lot of and I guess they're gonna do Rusev Cena at Mania again, right?
Yes, Rusev crushes John Cena.
Is it gonna be an I Quit? They gotta throw a gimmick in there, right? I Quit. Wait.
Is that a ShopRite bag?
Yes, it was. I was just trying to do Rusev Lane for y'all, so.
Save it for the promo mania.
Hey! I was trying to do. It was. We were on the subject there, son.
All right, let's take a break here from the talk and do a little trivia. I came up with a little trivia for you guys. As you know, we've been talking a lot of wrestling. 2 weeks ago, the Academy Awards, which celebrates the movies, Hollywood, which was kind of boring. I watched some of that. Was flipping back and forth, but that is not with our topic. Our topic tonight is the infusion of wrestling and movies. It's about wrestling movies, is our trivia topic. So we have 4 contestants here on trivia. I have 5 questions, and as always, I'm going to ask a question. First one to shout out the answer will get the point. And the 5th question is the closest to the pin question. So, all right, question number 1. In the movie The Wrestler, what was Randy the Ram's theme music in his final match?
Sweet Child of Mine.
That is correct, Mr. Z. And his return to trivia goes up.
One beer.
One beer. Okay. Take it home, Ram. Take it home, Ram.
I gotta watch that again. I got the Blu-ray.
Mr. Lane wrote something on the boogie board. What is that?
I'm keeping track of score too.
Okay.
So
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
All right. Second question.
Oh wait, here's a question: is anyone watching SmackDown right now?
No, I'm watching The Simpsons.
I have it on. Yes.
I don't have it on.
All
All right. Question number 2. Before Rue interrupts again. What WWE superstar starred in the first 3 WWE Studios movies?
Miz. Oh, shoot.
The first 3 WWE movies.
Miz.
Wow, you guys are rough tonight. The first 3 WWE Studios movies.
God. Kane.
Before that.
John Cena.
Triple H.
Before that.
Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Edge.
Stone Cold.
Oh, there you go. Oh, wow. Well, no, it can't be Rock.
Yes, The Rock.
Oh.
Yes. He did The Rundown. That was from WWE Studios. He did. I wrote it down here.
I didn't know that they produced that.
Walking Tall, and actually they produced The Scorpion King.
I thought the first WWE Films movie was See No Evil with Kane.
That was like the fourth. That was right after these three with The Rock. Where
did you get that?
Green, but
They very quietly produced those movies, and they're probably some of the best they ever put out.
Yeah, the Rock ones were good. The one with him and Sean William Scott was like a WWE Productions.
I had no idea they produced that.
Yeah. So anyway, point goes to Mr. Ryan there. So it's 1-1. All right, question number 3. Where did I write this? Shoot. All right, in the movie Man on the Moon, who plays Jerry the King Lawler?
Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler.
That is correct. Mr. Lane was first to get it. That was a trick question. He played himself. Mr. Lane, please update your boogie board. Thank you.
All right. Well, the scores as follows: Z has 1, Rue has 1, and yours truly has 1. Right there.
Nice
Right
sock.
there.
I got it.
All right, I'd like it if you all could have 1 point going into the final question. So, Steve, hopefully you can get this one. All right, question number 4 is. I'm looking at this one. Okay. I know he knows this too, so hopefully he gets this. All right. In the film, the documentary Beyond the Mat, which young WWE prospect gets a chance to meet Vince McMahon?
Braz.
Correct.
Yes.
Draws
He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke.
Anybody else want to do the impersonation?
I think Z does a good McMahon, honestly. He does the. You point.
So what do you want me to say? Vince? Oh, he's gonna puke. He's gonna puke.
Very good. Very good.
All right. Can I see the updated boogie board, please?
It's all ones. Let's see. Z with 1, Rue with 1,
Four-way
Steve
tie.
1, and yours truly with 1 point.
All right, this.
All right. Good luck with this one, but here is question number 5. All right. The blockbuster hit, we call it that, Ready to Rumble, starring David Arquette, was an interesting movie. I need you guys to come up with how much that movie grossed worldwide in dollars. You know.
Oh God.
$50 million.
Steven's guess is 50 million worldwide. Okay. I'll take Mr. Z's guess.
Worldwide, I'll say 52 million.
52. All right, Mr. Lane.
I'm gonna say about 80.
80. All right, and Mr. Roo TV.
I'll go 75 million.
75 million, huh? All right. Well, all right. So the movie was made. The amount of money it took to make the movie, it was made for $24 million, and worldwide, Ready to Rumble grossed only $12 million.
Oh.
So it was a box office flop. Stephen Page at 50
Well, I knew it flopped here, but I thought, like, you know how the foreigners like eat up anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that guy from Dubai.
No, it was a flop through and through. So Stephen Page, 50 million, wins this week's trivia challenge. Congratulations, Mr. Page.
Hey, that wasn't a bad movie. It wasn't a horrible movie. It had its funny parts, too.
Stephen Page comes up clutch to nail the last 2 questions and win.
Yeah. And Mr. Lane updates his boogie board with the winner right there. Steve.
Yeah, he's the winner.
I think it was. If you're a wrestling fan, it's a pretty good watch. But if you're just like an average person watching a movie, it probably.
If I wasn't a wrestling fan, that movie would be totally suck, and I would never, say I gotta watch this movie.
Plus, it I don't think it knew what it was. It was like they had backstage kind of talk with the promoter, but then at the same time it was kind of kayfabe. I don't know what the hell it was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, have fun trivia.
Jimmy King will rule you. Yes, I'm a nerd.
WW Jimmy. What would Jimmy King do?
That's right.
All right. So going off of wrestling, we'll get back to the Mania talk, but SNL 40 was last Sunday. I don't know how many of you guys watched it. I watched it. It was a really cool kind of star-studded event. I know Mr. Z watched it.
Yeah, it was. It had its good points, but overall, it was not that great. I didn't think.
I mean, there were some skits they could have cut out. But Ant, do you have like a favorite moment from SNL 40 that you saw?
Well, I really enjoyed some parts of it. Other parts, I think they could have done without. My two favorite parts were the two skits. Celebrity Jeopardy, obviously. I think everybody loved that. It was the consensus that was the best. And I'm a huge Wayne's World fan, as Rue and Justin know. So I was glad to see Wayne's World come back at the end. I thought Kanye West was god awful. With all the talent in that room for that night, to give that moron like 10 minutes of screen time was awful. It's shame on Lorne and NBC for doing that, because there were so many other things they could have done with all the talent in that room, and they gave that ass clown 10 minutes of airtime on a special where he didn't even deserve to be in the building.
There you go. There's just and Rue TV, you are one of SNL's greatest fans dating back to your childhood.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, but I don't mean to cut you off, but you guys, Justin and Ryan, were the ones that turned me on to Saturday Night Live.
Really? In the 90s?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I could attribute my like for SNL and for pro wrestling to Ryan, because I was like 3 or 4 when I was watching my first pay-per-views, and also I remember, this is funny. I remember we had a book, the SNL 25th anniversary book. You remember that, Rue?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was 15 years ago, and that was like when I was first getting. So I was 12 then. But I think even before that, I was into.
It was before that. That book was. We had that 20 years ago. So how old were you? 20. So
Yeah.
that's 20 years ago. You're what? 7?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Wrestling, you can like as a 3 or 4-year-old and get into it. I don't think as a 5 or 6-year-old I could watch SNL and understand the humor. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I got all the jokes. So I think SNL.
You know what it was? I think when you started watching, it was right around the time that they were heavy on a lot of reoccurring characters that were over the top cartoony, that were also funny, like the cheerleaders, Chris Kattan as Azrael Abyss, Goth Talk, and Harry Carey, a lot of like over the top reoccurring characters.
I remember Pat. And that was way back. That was when, but I didn't even understand, why that was so funny. But I remember watching it.
Yeah, man.
Is she a man or is she a woman?
That was the first skit that I ever. That was one of the first that I've ever seen. Prior to that, it was. I think I saw some Dana Carvey as George Bush. That was the first I saw. Then I had to backtrack, of course. But my thoughts, real quick, on the 40th. I loved it. I thought it was really could have been better, as Mr. Z said. Yeah, absolutely. It could have been hell of a lot better. But a quick comment, I don't know if anybody knew this, but Norm Macdonald actually helped write a lot of it, namely Celebrity Jeopardy. And the original idea was to have Eddie Murphy play Bill Cosby in that skit. It ended up being Kenan Thompson. And Eddie refused to do it because he didn't want to drag Bill Cosby. He didn't want to kick a man when he's down. And he ended up not doing it. And then you saw that awkward kind of moment with him later on where he just came out and said, "Wow, this is really, really nice," and then he said and then he walked off. I don't know, it's still cool to see him on stage, because as an SNL fan, that hadn't happened since I was a baby, in 1983 or something like that. So good times. I really enjoyed it. I think Dana Carvey, even though Wayne's World is a classic iconic skit, there's so much more Dana Carvey could have done too. I mean, he's got Church Lady. He could have done a George Bush, something else, because he was a major player. But also, real quick before I hang up, Jim Brewer doesn't get the credit that he deserves for whatever reason. Sherry O'Terry was there
what
too.
Was up with that? Sorry. I hate to interrupt you, Rue. What was up with that? Why wasn't Jim Brewer on there? Is there some
Yeah, a lot
some
of people I don't know. But well, he has heat. He has heat with Lauren Michaels. But
Wait, hold on. He was in attendance. He just wasn't on the show. He was there.
There, they showed him in the audience. He was like in the last row.
A lot of people forget that Jim Brewer had two of the funniest reoccurring sketches.
Joe Pesci show and Goat Boy?
Exactly, yes, and that was I loved SNL during that period. I mean, it got good in the 2000s with Will Ferrell as Bush and stuff, but those late 90s, they were freaking hilarious. It wasn't as popular as it got like towards 2000, 2001, and then of course it's cooled off now. The show basically sucks now, in my opinion. But late 90s, it was hilarious. I loved it.
Yeah. With Sherry O'Terry, Rue, I heard that she had a prior commitment and couldn't come. Is that true?
I did hear that she had. No, she was there. She was in attendance because on Twitter she did tweet some pictures. She was there, but she couldn't rehearse because this was like actually a whole week thing. Like if you were in a skit, you had to rehearse it or at least go over what you were going to do prior to. And she had work up until the day and wasn't able to be in a skit. So there wasn't any bad blood, I don't think, with her. She just wasn't able to work it, so she just sat in the crowd.
And I don't know why when Rue just said Sherry Terry has work, I just thought of that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode when she's sitting in the car.
Wait. Speaking of that, Larry David was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, he was.
What are you doing, Jerry? What are you doing?
I think he improvised when Jerry asked him if he was going to that after party.
Yeah, I agree.
No, why would I go to the after party?
No. Let me ask you guys a question, because I was never a fan of these skits when they were on there, although I do like some of the people that were in the skits. I thought the Californians ran so long and got really boring.
It wasn't even funny.
What did you
find it funny?
I didn't find it funny either. I didn't find it funny when it was on the show, but I do like some of the people that do the skit. What did you guys think about that? I mean, that was the longest skit of the night.
I'll add one thing to that, and I think I'm not a big Californians fan. It does get a few giggles out of me because I love Bill Hader, and if Bill Hader wasn't in it, I'd be just blank the whole time.
I like Hader, Armisen, Wig.
Yeah, Armisen. I think you need to look at that skit as the equivalent of WWE having a battle royal at WrestleMania. Like, look how many people were in that. Look how many people got TV time. Right. And then it was a way to get Betty White in there. And then they had Hater. So I think that was probably sort of the thinking, to get everybody in one big skit. So.
Now, is that a newer skit? Because I don't watch much of the newer stuff, so I wouldn't.
That was a skit that they did like 3 years ago, I think. So yeah, but
see, I haven't watched it in probably since the 2000s. Since
Yeah,
once Will Ferrell left, I pretty much was
tapped out.
Yeah. I mean, that skit has been for about, I would say, Hader's not on the show anymore, so I would say the last 3 or 4 years they started doing that. But honestly, I was a diehard SNL fan. Approximately 10 years ago, I stopped. I still watch casually, and I still DVR it and try to watch it when I can. But the last 10 years, I feel have gone downhill. My opinion.
Yeah, well, that's skit.
My same opinion, Rue. I agree.
Yeah.
That skit, if you ever watched the first time it was on, got a lot of laughs. It was funny because Hader and Armisen couldn't keep straight faces, and everyone was just cracking up because of that. I guess SNL, Lauren thought that was like, it was the content and not that, but I always thought that was why it was funny. But anyway, Mr. Lane, I want to get your thoughts. Did you watch SNL 40? I know you're a big comedy fan.
Well, I just don't watch that much Saturday Night Live like y'all do. I just don't, I was just letting y'all talk it out basically, but I don't watch it.
Are you an Eddie Murphy fan? And if so, have you seen the Clumps movies?
Well, I'm an Eddie Murphy fan, but it was interesting for what you all just said about him. He respectfully declined to do Saturday Night Live because of all those, allegations as we call them right now with the Bill Cosby situation, and and it's still going. The investigations are still going on that. So, having said all that, I just don't watch that much Saturday Night Live. I mean, I'll watch it on and off a little bit, but I just don't watch it. Unfortunately, I just don't watch it as much. Although, I think you can watch some of the classics on Netflix. I might be wrong on that, but I think you
Miss,
can watch it on Netflix.
It's
miss.
only like 3 seasons.
Right. Well, the material I know is on Netflix, but I
They
don't.
used to have a bunch of them. They used to have like the best ofs, and it was actually really good. Like you
Right.
basically get the whole show, but you wouldn't get the musical guests. And sometimes that would suck because it would show on Netflix the actual musical guests, and you'd be like, "Oh, I might want to listen to this song from the '90s," you know.
Right.
And then they would cut the musical guest out, which kind of sucked.
I see.
Speaking of the musical guest, I like the musical montage they did with Martin Short and Maya Rudolph's Beyonce, and I loved when Will Ferrell and Anna Gasteyer did two of my favorite characters, the Colts. It was good to see them back on there again. That was great.
I liked Bill Murray's when he was singing. It's just,
Oh yeah, that's he. I forget that guy's character. He was like the lounge singer. He sang the famous Star Wars song on Saturday Night Live. Everyone knows that skit.
yeah, his voice
But
is.
I heard a side story that apparently back when he was a cast member, he used to sing that like while they were rehearsing and stuff like that. So it wasn't like that wasn't material written for special for that night. It's something he's been doing for a while, well since his Saturday Night Live days.
Yeah, fun. All right, let's move on here. Got a lot of stuff still on my plate here. One thing a weird tidbit when I was doing some research for tonight's show. Did you guys know that listen to this. Did you know that Ken Shamrock is getting back into MMA? And that he's 51 and he's fighting in June. And Rue, did you hear who he's fighting?
I'm gonna guess and say Jose Canseco.
Yeah. No. I know exactly who it is, if I may answer the
Just
question.
give us a funny guess, Mr. Lane. Let's all go around and give our funny guess.
It was Kimbo Slice. That's the answer. See, I saw it online.
Correct. He's fighting.
Anybody Ducci, but
Yeah, which
that really tells you something about Kimbo. I mean, like I really thought he was going to be a star, but I guess like if you're just a street fighter, but they did train him, but I don't know. I guess he's old now. He's probably in his 45.
Yeah, he's looking for a paycheck. Everybody's looking for a paycheck, so I don't know.
Kimbo used to whoop some ass in his old YouTube videos.
Oh man, I used to watch that stuff like 10 years ago. It was sick.
Yeah, he was on CBS. They did like a special, and he fought. I think he lost on CBS.
Yeah. Well, he lost to who knocked him out? Was it Butterbean or somebody? Somebody gimmicky knocked him out. I can't remember. Or was it
Dustin Diamond?
Was it Bart Gunn?
Oh, it might have been Bart Gunn. Might have been Dr. Dale.
Dr. Dale. Shout out to Mark Golden. Anyway, all right. We have spring training coming up. I really don't want to get into that. It's too depressing. We talked about we'll be going there soon. But as far as the Phillies, WrestleMania coming up. I have written down the card as it stands right now. We want to talk a little bit about Fastlane, but anyway, the card now: Brock Lesnar defending against Roman Reigns. Triple H looks like it's going to be Triple H versus Sting. Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt in a casket match. Okay.
Has that been confirmed?
No, it has not been confirmed, but I'm just speculating. And also, Cena Rusev hasn't been confirmed, but it's also speculation. They may throw in a match or two, and they're doing the Battle Royal too. So, a couple matches to talk about here. First, let's talk about the Undertaker and Bray Wyatt. First off, is Undertaker, will he not be on TV until WrestleMania, and why are they doing this? Like, why are they choosing to do it? Is it contractual thing, or is he just, do they not want to have him look at Bray Wyatt face to face? Rue, you know?
It's just the old way of booking where they want to keep two people apart. They feel like it'll be more special, and they think that, well, if Taker isn't on TV, then it'll be even more special. Uh, I'm against that, honestly. I don't really like that style where it's like, oh, they can't touch. It's going to be special. Obviously, they're taking it a step further by not even having Taker on the show. I'm of the opinion of just build heat. Just have them beat the crap out of each other and build and build and build. I don't know. But I think that in the end, what should happen, I mean, I know what should, Mr. Lane, what should happen? Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. Briefly, then I got to say one more
well,
thing.
I've heard a lot. I've heard quite a few versions of it personally. I've heard that, The Undertaker might get Bray Wyatt over and all this.
Mr. Lane. I mean, what should happen? Undertaker versus future top heel, top baby, whatever he's going to be, Bray Wyatt. What should happen in that match? What should happen?
That's a tough question there, man, because, The Undertaker, we all know, lost at WrestleMania last year, and the only question that I think we should all be thinking about, will he redeem himself against Bray Wyatt? Now, Bray Wyatt is one of the, like you just said, one of the best heels. I wouldn't be surprised if The Undertaker loses again. I hate to say this, but, it wouldn't surprise me.
The question I want to ask is, if you're looking in the interest of fairness, what should happen in that match?
Well, most likely people want to see The Undertaker win. That's the interest of fairness, right? I think that's.
No, I don't think. I think I'll just jump in there. Well, actually, I'll throw it to Ant. Ant, what do you have to say about that question?
Well,
I mean, what should be the right? I'll put it this way. Maybe I'm not phrasing it right. What is the right thing to do? Like, who should?
In my opinion, the right thing to do. It serves no purpose for The Undertaker to win that match.
That's what I was thinking, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's no more streak. I think Taker, it's up to Taker if he wants to wrestle. I don't think unless Vince came to him and asked them as a favor, I think The Undertaker wants to be a part of the show, so he's going to go out and wrestle Bray Wyatt. There's no more streak. It doesn't make sense for him to win. You want to put your stock in a guy who's still on the main roster, who's a future of the company. So it makes more sense to have Bray Wyatt go over The Undertaker at WrestleMania. It builds more and more heat for Wyatt, and
I've heard that too.
Going forward. Now, just to touch on something we talked about with keeping them on and off TV. I think The Undertaker has been the best, and I think we can agree on this. I think we talked about this before. The Undertaker has been like the best character that WWE's ever had. They do a lot of great things with the Undertaker character. I think a couple more promos, whether with Wyatt with the lights out, with the caskets and the druids, that I thought that was awesome.
That was clever.
Yeah, I think a couple more promos, then eventually, maybe the week before Mania, I think Wyatt should be cutting a promo, and the lights go out, and then the smoke comes out, and then Taker just emerges with his robe and his hat and all his look, and just kind of gives him the stare or the classic point. I think that'll go a long way for setting up the match. I don't agree with the no contact thing, but if I were booking it, that's what I would do.
All right, yeah, that's fair. So let's just move on. We're gonna have a pre-WrestleMania show here. We'll talk about all the matches, but Steven, I wanted to talk about the Lesnar Reigns. A lot of people, when they announced that Daniel Bryan would be wrestling Reigns at Fastlane, thought that Bryan would win. But as it got closer and closer, you heard things that this is still going to be Roman Reigns, and it turns out it was. They wrestled a very good main event, but Roman Reigns came out on top. And this is the other thing I wanted to talk about, is the whole Lesnar thing, because we hear on Lesnar was off of Raw even though he was advertised because there was some kind of dispute. A lot of people think it was because of the contract.
Nope.
Yeah, let me hear what you think. What is the dispute, and is Brock Lesnar walking away from WrestleMania with the belt still around his waist, or is it going to be Roman Reigns? And is that what he's mad about? Steve?
Oh, me? I think Reigns will walk away. I have no idea what Brock Lesnar is mad about. Vince has pretty much given this guy everything that he's ever wanted. He's got the easiest schedule, and he walks around with the WWE title. This guy gets millions of dollars to appear only on Monday nights, sometimes, and on pay-per-views. He barely has to do any of the work. They've always catered to Brock Lesnar. He's never been a real quote-unquote wrestler. He doesn't like the lifestyle. He want, and that's good for him. Some people are not up for it. He likes to go hunt and bang Sable. Hey, you know what? I can't.
Oh, Sable.
Ooh.
I don't know what. Actually, it's kind of good for the wrestling fans because you're not going into WrestleMania knowing that Lesnar's going to lose it because maybe there's still talks that he could continue afterwards. But anyway, I wanted to ask Ryan if Brock Lesnar, if this is his last match and he drops it to Roman Reigns and is off TV for a while or is completely done or whatever, what happens to Paul Heyman after WrestleMania? I mean, he's a very talented asset that WWE and a lot of people, but who do they use him on?
If your older brother is in charge, there's an obvious spot for him, and that is
Roman Reigns.
That is to manage the new World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns and talk for him because he can't talk. Now, under that, what would happen? He'd have to be a heel, which from day one I said Roman Reigns has to be a heel. He's not the top babyface. He can't be. He's not over enough. You can't force stuff down people's throats. So I think that's where I think. Now, if that doesn't happen, what will Heyman do? Honestly, if I had my jollies, I would like to see Paul Heyman leave WWE and hook up with one of these new companies, or maybe TNA give him the ball and run with that and see what happens. Because I think Paul's
That's never going to happen, Rue.
Well,
that's not going to happen.
Stranger things have happened with Dixie Carter, so you never know.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever go to TNA. I don't think he'd degrade himself that much.
Well, just real quick, and then I'll send it to somebody else. If you guys don't know, 5 years ago, before Hogan, or was it after? Was it right after? I think it was right after Hogan and Bischoff. They offered Heyman a spot to come on to creative with TNA, but he did not take the job because he wanted full creative control and full ability to fire and hire whoever he wanted. And he wanted to get rid of all the 40 and 50-year-olds and go with the youth, and didn't work out. So,
Mr. Lane, buy or sell Seth Rollins cashing in his money, his briefcase, Money in the Bank, at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns?
You know what? I'm glad you asked that question. I buy it 100%, and here's why. I personally think Paul Heyman, and just to answer y'all question, I think Paul Heyman will be Seth Rollins' manager. That's just dumb as it sounds. That's just my opinion. He's known for managing heels, not good guys. Now, right?
Yeah.
Well, what?
He's frozen. We have a freezer.
Frozen Lane.
Excellent heel. I think Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, that would be an excellent combination. I really do. Because if he cashes in Money in the Bank, I think he could manage Seth Rollins. That's just my opinion.
Great idea.
I think so, because it makes logical business sense. Roman Reigns, I don't think he'll have the championship long. If he wins it, I don't think he'll have it for a long time. It would make sense that two members of the Shield feud against each other. I think it makes logical sense. Because when Seth Rollins, pop quiz for y'all, when Seth Rollins turned, who did he hit with the steel chair? Pop quiz.
Roman Reigns?
Correct.
Roman Reigns.
Correct, yes. And it all comes full circle. So it makes logical sense. Doesn't
Roman
it?
Reigns, Michael Lanes. Full circle.
Don't make me freeze there, Mr. Z.
Let's all freeze at the same time.
Oh,
I'll say something stupid.
No.
We don't even.
That's what we call dead air in the business, and we don't like dead air. So, I want to bring back a segment that Mr. Stephen Page introduced last 2 weeks ago. I forgot what the title was, but
Kayfabe Theater.
Kayfabe Theater. I like to call it guest ad wrestler. But anyway, it's going to be my turn because I said so today because Stone Cold said so. Basically, the rules you guys know, besides Mr. Z who wasn't here because of contractual stuff. I have a wrestler in my head. You're going to ask me yes or no questions. You keep guessing if I keep saying yes until you get the wrestler. And the winner, the guy who guesses the wrestler correctly, wins. So I'm going to go from my left to my other left. I'm going to start with Mr. Z. You can ask the first question here on Kayfabe Theater.
Okay. Did your wrestler wrestle in the aughts? So 2000 to present. I'm sorry, 2010 to, I'll say, how do I want to form this question? All right. Has your wrestler wrestled this decade, so from 2010 to 2015?
Has he wrestled? Yes.
This decade, 2010 to 2015.
Has he wrestled? Yes. All right. So Ant, it's still Ant.
I continue?
Yeah. It's like who's that guy?
Gotcha. Okay. Has he wrestled at a WrestleMania?
Ever?
Yes, ever.
Oh boy. I'm gonna. I don't know that. I don't know that answer. I'm not sure.
I'll reform it. Has he ever won a title?
Yes.
Did he wrestle in WWE?
Has he? Yes.
Was he ever part of a faction?
Yes.
Coffee and peanut butter. I'm eating coffee and peanut butter.
Does he have a nickname?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't think so.
No. Steven, you're up.
Has this wrestler, ever held the IC title?
No. True.
Is your wrestler white or black?
It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no. You have to do.
Is your wrestler black?
No.
Okay. I had a name in my mind. I was wrong.
All right, Mr. Lane.
Well, I'm just playing the sound effects. Don't mind me.
Wait. Can I go back to a question? Ant, what did you ask me about that belt? The belt question?
Did he ever hold a title?
No. There was another one you said after that. I said yes, then you said something else.
Well, has he ever wrestled at WrestleMania? You said pass.
All right, we'll just keep going. I thought you. All right, Mr. Lane, go ahead.
Did this wrestler? Did this wrestler wrestle ever for NXT?
No.
Did he wrestle for any other companies other than WWE?
Yes.
Was it WCW?
Yes.
Is he currently on the active roster?
No. Mr. Page.
Is this wrestler white?
Yes.
Does he have long hair?
Or is that a question? Does he have long hair now, or did he have long hair?
Did he ever have? Does he have long hair now? Yes.
No, not now. Brew.
Is your wrestler known for hardcore matches?
No. I might give you a hint. This is a little obscure, not too obscure, but it's not like an obvious wrestler. So go ahead, Mr. Lane.
Did this wrestler ever wrestle for UFC?
No.
Ah, darn.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, wait. I'm gonna give a hint here. It's a small hint, but I'll because we getting a little late here. The hint is the color green. Color green.
Okay, I know who it is.
Is your wrestler Fit Finley?
No.
Oh,
No, that's a good guess. That's a good guess.
see, that's what I was thinking too.
Steve. The next time I I'll give another hint. I gotta think of what I'm gonna do.
Let's get a recap here. So he's wrestled.
He's wrestled in WCW and WWE. His hair now is short. Hint is green. He's held a belt, but he's never. I'm not sure if he wrestled in WrestleMania, so that should tell you he wasn't really a main eventer.
And he has wrestled at some point in the past 5 years.
Yes. That you just asked if he's wrestled. I said yes. That's all I said.
Okay. Okay, let's go. Has he wrestled for WWE in the last 5 years?
What year is it? 2015.
So 2010 to 2015.
I think he has. See, I'm almost positive he has.
Does this wrestler have any tattoos?
He has not wrestled in WWE in the past 5 years. It's close, but it's not 5 years. No tattoos. All right, it's Rue's turn. Rue.
Is your wrestler Shane Hurricane Helms?
No, Mr. Lane.
Oh, that was. You took my guess away. Darn. Hmm. Okay, let me think here. Is this wrestler from New Jersey?
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Is this wrestler? And I'm going to take a wild guess at this. Is it Diamond Dallas Page? Bang.
No.
Oh, no.
All right. My new hint.
Darn.
My new hint is Brutus. Brutus the Barber Beefcake is my new hint.
Whose turn is it?
Mine.
Z's turn.
It's my turn. Brutus the Barber Beefcake is the hint.
Let me add a little bit to that. Brutus the Barber Beefcake changed his career. That's it. Okay, that's all I'll give you.
Is your wrestler Marty Jannetty?
Yes, you got it.
Wait a minute. What does green have to do with Jannetty?
The Rockers were green. They had green and yellow and colors.
That is the worst hint of all
Wrestle
time.
at WrestleMania.
That is the worst hint of all time. The Rockers wore 20 different colors, 20 different nights of the.
Look at most of their colors are green. They always had green on.
The new
You
Rockers
said they didn't wrestle at WrestleMania. This person didn't wrestle at WrestleMania. He did.
I did say that he did or he didn't. I said I wasn't sure.
You're a
I said he
horrible.
probably did.
The new Rockers wore black and
When
green.
you're going to pick somebody, you should know all this information.
Prepare.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
Slapping his Slim Jim.
Did he just walk out?
Well, I guess I'm hosting now since the host.
I'm back. I didn't expect to get the hard questions. He was my favorite wrestler back in the day. I wanted to give him a more obscure guy. But anyway, Mr. Z, congratulations on the win. All right, let's just move on. Around that, it's been about an hour now, so I don't really have much else. Mania, Triple H and Sting, whoop-de-doo, they're gonna wrestle. Gonna be a great match, hopefully. But anything else?
A question real quick that I'll ask you guys. Now that Bryan is apparently out of the title picture, as of this week, he's out of the title picture. Who does Daniel Bryan face at WrestleMania?
Dolph Ziggler was the plan.
That'd be fun to watch. Just a lot, good match. I hope they don't put him on the Battle Royal and do that. I hope they don't do that.
Now, I kind of hope they throw him in a triple threat match with Randy Orton and Seth Rollins, because that'll be more entertaining. But he's lost on the card.
It'll never happen. But, if they weren't a corporate company and they wanted to shake crap up, I would sign Samoa Joe tomorrow and start Samoa Joe versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that would definitely, I think, a lot of the guys who like TNA or good wrestling would probably purchase the network for that match.
Pretty much. But it looks like Joe's going to come in. I just don't know what. Odds are after WrestleMania. I'm just being, fantasy booking. But Joe's
going to
come in.
Do you think they'll start him on NXT, or do you think he'll come right to the main roster?
I think he'll do main roster. I really don't think there's room for him in NXT, especially with Kevin Owens there. I think they should bring him in as an already established star. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see him in NXT. He's a star over there. Like, if AJ Styles were to come in, I don't think he'd go to NXT. I don't see it. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, it's time for final thoughts here. Horsemen Hangout. Unless we want to do Promo Mania, which I don't have anything prepared. Does anybody want to do Promo Mania?
Nah.
All right. Well, I will start the final thoughts. With everything going on, we didn't get a chance to talk about TV. But I wanted to throw out there that Parks and Recreation, one of my favorite shows of all time, has just finished its 7-season run. It was a great show. Had some ups, had some downs, but for the most part, it was consistently funny. I told Ant that the minor – I don't know if I told him this, but I was going to. The minor characters on Parks and Rec reminded me a lot how great they were to, like, The Simpsons. They just had, so many freaking funny minor characters, almost better than a lot of the major characters. But anyway, going to miss that show. Better Call Saul is great, and watching It's Always Sunny, which I have to watch from last night. But anyway, I'll turn it over to Mr. Z for his final thoughts.
Final thoughts, a couple things. To piggyback off that, Parks and Rec, amazing show. I've worked from home a couple days this week, and including Tuesday when the final episode aired. And there was a marathon on all day, and I just laughed my ass off. Great characters, very relatable characters, believable characters. Really going to miss that show. One of my favorites of all time. Just as Justin said, Better Call Saul has been great. Really invested in that. I watched Always Sunny before I came on the Hangout. It was hilarious. But just glad to be back on the show. Glad we worked things out. Missed you guys a lot, and looking forward to more shows in the future.
Miss you too, man.
All right, Mr. Stephen Page, final thoughts?
Just like always, thank you for having me on the show. It's good to hang out with you guys, and hope you guys have a good week.
All right, thank you. You too. Mr. Roo TV, I can't see you anymore. Where'd you go?
You guys like snacks? If you like healthy snacks that's good for you, reach for your fridge and reach for grapes. Oh, sorry, Sweet Pea. You've got grapes here. They're tasty, nutritious, and delicious grapes. See you guys next week.
We are in the fridge.
I wish he turned the camera around, because I always wondered if it was like Toy Story in the fridge when it was closed,
Oh boy. Anyway, Mr. Lane, final thoughts?
Well, I know we're most of us except Mr. Page over there or National League East fans. All I have to say is, for the Washington Nationals, put up or shut up. Let's see if they win 100 or 105 wins this year. That's all I have to say.
Did you hear Bryce Harper? He was asked a question about the starting rotation, and he said, what he said, where's my ring? I want my ring right now, or something, he said.
Which to me makes no sense, because last I checked, Doug Fister nor Max Scherzer ever won a World Series ring. Yes, I don't think any of those teams have won.
Neither of the Washington Nationals. They consistently have the best record in the National League and choke. So I think we can all agree that we hope they choke this year.
I just think Harper talks all this crap when he really has underperformed when expectations were so high. He's been all right, but he hasn't been the superstar they were thinking he'd be.
Let's see if he can stay healthy. Let's see if he can go a full season without crashing into a wall like an idiot.
That was the greatest moment ever. That was great. anyway, looking forward to baseball. Looking forward to Mania. A lot of things to look forward to. So you guys have a good week. From Ruth's Fridge, signing off. Hopefully he takes his cameras. There's a computer out of there. But anyway, thanks for joining us, guys, in the Horseman Hangout. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. And hopefully we'll do this again next week. All right. Peace out. There's Rue. There he is. Peace out, guys. Right on. Fight on. See you later.